Hello, and welcome back once again to the Strawberin0 channel. Today, according with a request from a benevolent patron of the Strawberin0 empire, I am watching Limbo of the Lost, the greatest bad game by MandaloreGaming. From what I understand, this is a very obscure, very shit game, which I might surprise you. I think I actually know about it, even though I have obviously never watched this video in particular. 9 or 10 years back, I actually saw, when I still wasn't that much into English YouTube, I was watching Polish YouTubers. And one of the Polish YouTubers, I think, reviewed this game. I think it's like an point and click adventure game, and he was shitting on it non-stop. I don't remember the specifics. I remember some really goofy animations with the main protagonist. I think there was something about really bad puzzle design, and of course that the game was irredeemably bad. I actually looked it up prior to searching this up, and that review was made 5 years before Mandalore's review, which is very interesting. And to my surprise, a lot of people, like, I just typed in Limbo of the Lost recenzja, which is review in Polish, and there were a bunch of videos from back in the day, from specifically 10 years ago. There was the review I mentioned. Another very popular Polish YouTuber did a playthrough of it 9 years ago. I saw that Vinesauce played it also 9 years ago. Was this game actually released back then, or did it suddenly become popular and people from like completely different parts of the world suddenly decided to make videos on it? It's so weird. This review is 5 years after that, so from 5 years ago. So Mandalore was kinda late to the party, but I imagine this is one of the more popular videos about this game on the whole platform, so I bet he still like pointed the most people towards it. But without further ado, let's just get into the video and see for ourselves.
Hurry up, Bri'ish. Shake a leg. Get a move on. Oh, la, 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 la.
Tough. Okay, the animation quality is already gold.
A few weeks ago, a game called Hunt Down the Freeman was released. To put it bluntly, it's abysmal. There are feature-length videos talking about how bad it is. On top of that, it was using assets that appear to be stolen from other games and mods. I saw some people calling this the biggest scam in gaming, but I remembered a story very similar to this one, and not too long ago actually. Imagine a game that stole at least 10 times as much stuff but got a physical release. Well, it's here. It's actually right here on my desk.
Physical discs of that game go for crazy fucking amounts of money. When I looked up the aforementioned Polish review, a clip popped up with the original reviewer that I talked about. His name is NR Geek, by the way. Couple of months ago, somebody clipped it. He actually looked up on stream for how much this game is going on eBay, and it was going for like $600. And there were like 3 fucking copies available. So physical copies of this game actually go for a lot of fucking money. Probably nobody will ever buy them. Maybe there are some collectioners of very bad video games.
Highly enjoyable. I was immersed within the first few minutes. I've never heard of any of these websites, but I do agree that
Game
it's a highly enjoyable
boomers,
game.
what the fuck?
As you can tell from the title, this isn't just going to be a review this time. It's going to be a little different. So in the spirit of Hunt Down the Freeman, I'd like to share a game that's so bad it's good, but also so much more. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started.
This is a very interesting angle because
This is maybe the best advice you'll get in the whole game. When you start it up, you get a cutscene of someone
that was a strong start. I just wanna say real quick, every single previous video I mentioned that I saw, like the thumbnail and title suggested that, it's a piece of crap game, and people had that like almost angry video game nerd approach to it, where they were taking it apart and really attacking the game. But those videos are from like 10 years ago, and that was the meta at the time. Now, much more level-headed reviews are more appreciated, I feel. So this is interesting because Mandalore is approaching this unlike those other reviewers. He's suggesting that this game is so bad it's actually good, which I enjoy those types of games, you know. Deadly Premonition, or whatever the fuck it's called, is like one of, unironically, the greatest games I have played, and it's only so good because it's so bad.
Falling through fire, and it's from the movie Spawn. I don't mean they ripped
What?
it off, I mean they literally took this scene from the movie Spawn and they just made it their intro. The only thing different they did was putting a border around it. And the border itself, taken from a World of Warcraft wallpaper.
No way, man. There is no fucking way. Okay, this is already great.
This wasn't, you know, Wild West internet. I'm not going to play the whole intro, but there are only 3 people listed in the credits, and that's probably why. Also, I have no clue what anyone's saying.
Sorry, what was the year?
This wasn't, you know...
2008. Okay, so that's 15 years ago, not 10. This is so weird that this game received coverage like 5 years after release.
Wild West internet. I'm not going to play the whole intro, but there are only 3 people listed in the credits, and that's probably why. Also, I have no clue what anyone's saying or what's happening. Give a listen to the audio mixing.
This is so
later,
fucking
even
goofy.
If you could hear them, it wouldn't make a difference. Finally, we get to the prologue, featuring a vaguely adjusted Battle for Middle-earth loading screen. Then, it begins.
So you are awake? Good. No. Do not be fearful of me. I am to help, not to hurt. I am friend.
Where do you even start with something like this? Well, first of all,
I am at a loss of fucking words.
I couldn't understand what it was until later. It's a spiritual successor to the CDI Zelda cutscenes. It has all the ingredients.
Oh boy! I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok!
Arak doesn't tell you about your backstory or why you're there, but he tells you to stay away from the Dark Ones. Well, I guess he tells the main character Briggs, because you, the player, are a character.
Yes, look! They're on the other side! Whoa.
When you finally get to playing, it seems like any typical adventure game. Limbo the Lost is entirely in 2D, which is awkward. At best, the Briggs model just seems out of place compared to everything else. At its worst, the game just doesn't know how to handle him. A lot of the backgrounds look jagged and awful, and in theory, this could be fixed with anti-aliasing. I tried setting it up to maximum, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't do anything. Oh right, like I just said, this is a 2D game, so that's a screenshot. Why have the option? That is incredible. Sometimes character sprites will double over each other in different positions. The art style can change every other room.
What the fuck is going on?
Artistic level. Some people play adventure games to explore aesthetically.
How is this game that got an official boxed fucking release so much worse than the asset flips you see on Steam? This is incredible. Holy.
The Lost keeps you entertained by being half freak show and half scavenger hunt. For example, the first room you're in, stolen from Return to Castle Wolfenstein. The entire beginning of the game is. I'm not going to show all of it, so it would take forever. Just seeing what's stolen is fun, but there's so much more. For example, here's going up a set of stairs. That's never explained, it just happens. That's the story for...
I shit you not, I was 100% convinced Mandalore edited that in himself. What the fuck is this game?
Happen.
Who are you? Oh, faggots, the name.
Oh! Oh! Oh my fucking god! I'm assuming an Eastern European dev made this game because holy fuck, the junk and the loose understanding of English language could have only spawned from Eastern Europe. My fucking god.
That's not a joke. The character's name is Cranny Faggot, and we're still in the prologue.
Go away. Black Hawk trust no one. Black Hawk only trust birds.
I hope you can understand why this is beyond the regular video format. This is going to be a house tour / history lesson of an insane asylum.
I'm just going to enjoy my coffee and let Mandalore speak because I'm at a fucking loss for words right now.
If you've seen some of my other videos,
Things
you
are
know that
still
I'm no
happening,
stranger to
by
sound
the way.
issues in games. However, Limbo the Lost has a unique one that I haven't seen anywhere else. There are no audio options, not even volume control. Fair enough. I can just lower it in the volume mixer. This works for a little bit. Whoa, what happened? The sound level just jumped back up. Whenever you change a room, your volume spikes back up to your default. I've never seen something like this. I can only guess it's running some kind of check every time it loads a new room and then sets your audio up. Shh. Grunger. The big technical issue is that the game is prone to crashing. It seems to be random, but right here, I can swear that Briggs crashes the game. Well, there's your port report, PC Master Race. Luckily, you can load from the splash screen, or anywhere else in the game. If a conversation is going too long and you're worried about crashing, you could just pause the game and save in the middle of it. So the crashing isn't as big of a deal as it should be. By the way, check out the menu. The unpause button being back to hell is pretty funny, but look at the gargoyle. I won't run out of these anytime soon. It's good that the technical issues are for the most part weird and not game destroying. Having a so bad it's good game is much harder than a so bad it's good movie. With something like The Room, you just pop it in and watch Tommy do his thing. This is why good bad games are hard to find. A bad game is like having Tommy Wiseau make the movie, but also the DVD it's carried on, and the DVD player. I've seen some people say that Hunt Down the Freeman is a so bad it's good game, but it's really not. If you're spending more time lost or feeling frustrated than laughing at the works of a madman, it's just not a good bad game. I don't think games that are designed to be broken like Goat Simulator should count for the category, but I'm not the expert. There's just something special about seeing someone's different brain working at full capacity on a passion. Limbo of the Lost started development sometime in the early 90s, so nearly 20 years went into this. So the fact that it's functional and relatively hassle-free in a modern system is a blessing. So now I'm gonna show-
Oh my god, somebody poured 20 years of their life into there is no way. That's so depressing.
The game is played. The
Holy
interface is very
shit.
simple. You can right-click anywhere in the game world to open up a Ouija board. On an object, you can sense it, look at it, take it, or perform an action on it. In reality, you'll only be using 3 of these and not sense because it's useless. It's your sense of smell, but most things in the game you can't smell.
No sense, no feeling.
99% of objects in the game will say that. When it comes to inventory, you just mouse to the top of the screen to access it, and you can use your actions on these items as well. For example, if you have a letter, you could use the look command and then read it. Wait a minute. Well, I guess Cranny Faggot likes a drop of the hard stuff, but the menu. Ah, let me know if you see anything that I miss. Anyway, some of the letters only open main menu options. You won't get all the letters until about the last 10 seconds of the game. Since you also click to move around as well, you don't need your keyboard for any of this. So the controls are fine and the UI is passable except for 2 flaws. That compass is always spinning. You might be saying, so what, it's spinning around. Well, just wait. When the levels will start turning into a maze, this is going to get into your head. To give it credit, it will stop moving when you mouse over an exit, but it might not always stop in the exact right place. Like right here, it stops moving for a moment, but I click there and I can't move off it. Nope, that didn't do it. Oh my god. Come on, finally, there we go.
Jesus
Interesting
Christ.
piece. I saw those skulls just everywhere. Well, once again, it's more Diablo. And a shield of all things.
Interesting.
Naturally, you expect bad adventure game logic for the puzzles.
Why,
Don't worry, those are there.
why not cut out a piece of that shield and like rearrange it to make it more original? Why rip it straight out? That's... You're just asking to get caught at that
It
point.
just takes it farther into crazy person logic. So now I'm going to go through the game chapter by chapter and show things I thought were interesting. Not all of them in case you want to play it yourself, but enough to give you an idea of what to expect.
Oh, I say, we have a visitor. How lovely. Oh, what the? I'm sorry, I forgot. Hang on. Do not be afraid. Is that better?
Dungeon Master.
There is no
The prologue is
fucking
brief, but
way.
it serves as a perfect introduction to the game. Your main goal is to steal a key from the jailer known as Grunger, or Grunger depending on who you're talking to, and escape the level. To get the key, you need
Why would somebody put 20 years of their life into the... Did they not realize... Okay, this was probably made for tax evasion and whatever. There was something shady going on behind this company, is what I would guess, because, like, think about it. Most of the game is screenshots from other games and stolen assets anyway. There is no way in 18 years... If they were truly passionate about this game, in 18 years they would have something that's theirs. Even if it was shit, it would be theirs. Instead, all of this shit is stolen and everything is, you know, very low budget, low effort. I mean, it's a point and click game. Don't need to put as much effort into it as like an FPS or whatever. So I do believe something shady was going on with the company, like some money laundering scheme or tax evasion fucking plan, whatever. This is the result of it, and they probably just had to release. Or just maybe the developer secured funds from someone and he basically was milking them, and then he had an obligation to release the video game and he released this.
to make a sleeping potion and knock him out and snatch it from his neck, except he's already asleep. Huh. What's interesting is how they were able to weave the stolen backgrounds together into something consistent. Like I said before, the very beginning is from Wolfenstein, but the later parts of the prologue are from a different game, an Xbox hack and slash called Enclave, or Enclave depending on where you're from. This is what you would go out and rent before the Souls games were invented. Back in the day, we just called it Swede Souls, you know, because Starbreeze is Swedish. Man, this reminds me of the good stuff. Anyhow, I went on a sightseeing tour in some games to find the locations. A lot of the Limbo of the Lost backgrounds are really zoomed in or have the colors adjusted, but it's not enough to hide it, especially if someone's looking for it. However, Enclave is integrated into the game a little bit differently than the others in one area. In the prologue, you meet a trapped character who's hanging in a suspended cage and he doesn't shut up. It's a joke that goes on way too long, but I like the skeleton in the background. You need to collapse the cage so you can grab his arm and then throw it into the sleeping potion you're making. You go to the room above the cages and see the two ropes suspending them. There's a huge lever in the room, but it does nothing when you try to action it. Plus, I can see that these ropes are attached to a gate. Meanwhile, I found the same room in Enclave. They did try to hide this a little bit more by flipping the screen around. Good hustle. So you pull the lever and it raises the gate. The one you can clearly see. In Limbo of the Lost, you have to be Captain Kleptomaniac to put together a torch and then burn down the rope.
What? What the fuck is happening
Meanwhile,
right now?
no, he can't slash the ropes. Maybe they thought that the puzzles were too similar, so made their own torch puzzle to differentiate from it. But in that case, why leave the lever there? Did they not have anybody who could Photoshop it out? I haven't
Probably.
gotten there yet, but it's not even the most blatant plagiarism. Not even close. So what came first, the torch or the lever? Was the puzzle based around a stolen level, or did the puzzle come first and they just made the level fit into it somehow? Well, I think I have the answer. Remember when I said it was in development for nearly 20 years? Well, they released a demo in 1995 for the Amiga 32. The 88th issue of the Amiga Computing magazine only had some images of it, but the 11th issue of a magazine called Amiga CD32 Gamer had a demo. As far as I can tell, issue 11 is lost to time, but the demo isn't. Time to fire up the emulator.
What a stink. And before you say it, it isn't me.
Man, gaming used to be so much better back in the day.
Forget reality. Surrender to your darkest dream.
They kept the same line. Wow, it'll have hordes of monsters. I've got to admit, this game looks a lot nicer than the one they released.
True.
Stuck? Try logic.
The Amiga version is actually more of a pain because you have to cycle through more options with the mouse by right-clicking.
It's a locked door.
What makes it unbearable is if you don't do something for 7 seconds, he stops the game.
Hello?
This is also a timed demo, so I don't want to have to keep restarting it. It's really reminding me of CDI Zelda now. But wouldn't you know it, it's the exact same first puzzle. Grabbing the torch, combining it with the human fat, and lighting it in the cauldron. The exact same thing.
Nah, this brew's designed to chew, not spew.
What a weirdo.
This demo is going to have some more importance, but I'm going to put it aside for now.
This
The demo
is
proves
so...
that, on some level, there wasn't a
that demo is so much more charming, man. That looked like a passion project. Like, they had to make their own sprites and everything. Surely something happened along the way.
original game being made, so it wasn't a complete sham of grabbing things from other games and designing it around that. That being said, there are stolen elements that are just lazy. For example, all the signs are using a Lord of the Rings font. Why not use a font that doesn't need a license? It's a shame because the elements that are original are genuinely bizarre and funny.
What
So how bad do the puzzles get? The sleep potion isn't that
Probably
far-fetched,
pretty bad.
except you also need the jailer's snot to complete it. Plus, you get your first taste of crazy person logic. Cranny's potion calls for liquor, so you'd think you could find some liquor somewhere, but you can't. You fill a jar with water, combine it with a worm, and then you have tequila. That's dumb, but only a taste of what's to come. I'm back from the sewer water. Here's your booze, Madam Faggot. You wake up the jailer to give him the potion that puts him back to sleep and then grab his key. And you're done.
Grubs up. My favorite.
Chapter complete. The tutorial. I'd usually be in the middle by now, but everything's all messed up in this video. And so begins Chapter 1.
I, young man, am the keeper of lost souls. You have done well to get this far.
What is this place?
To some, this is home. To others, it is a halfway house between their world and the next. This is the keep of lost souls.
So tell me, am I dead? What the?
Let me give you this.
Sorry about that. Don't know what came over me.
We are off to an excellent start. This is when the levels start to open up and true madness begins. There are a bunch of coffins you could grab.
What can I even fucking say looking at that? How can I react or say anything interesting? The fucking video is so bizarre. Not the video, the game. The fucking game is so bizarre. I know why Mandalore didn't review it. There is nothing interesting to say, because no matter what you fucking say, the things happening on screen are so bizarre, they will overpower every single word you utter in your review or video. Jesus Christ.
Several of them are red herrings, and they don't do anything. There are also 3 items, 2 of which you need to complete stuff, but you can only hold one at a time. One gift to rule them all. Some of the investigating is odd and lacks visual cues. I use take on an empty eye socket, and I get a glass eye out of it. Why not just have an eyeball there? Chapter 1's beginning is all about teaching you not to trust what you can see. Like crossing this bridge that has rotting planks that are breaking apart. All the items I collected didn't help me out, but here's the answer. You go to the entrance of the level and pick up an entire coffin lid. Now you could use it on the bridge to cross. That doesn't look safe to me. Your perspective really gets thrown off in this level. Not long after, you find what looks like a satanic dog bowl. Fluffy. Oh, don't tell me. I was really expecting the dog from Harry Potter. Or maybe the model from the game.
Hey, are you asleep?
Oh my god, they did it. Alright, I see it. And stop. Actually, they are 3 separate dogs, so it's not a complete ripoff. But then why only show one dog bowl in the cutscene? The world may never know. To keep the dogs distracted, you have to put a bone in each
Maybe
of their
they
bowls.
are all
Every
called
bone you put in,
Fluffy.
a gate opens up. This room is a 3-door hub to the rest of the level, so ideally you want all the doors open at once. The only place you can get a bone is from the first room, but you can only carry one at a time. It's about a minute trek each way, and there's no special event or challenge, it's just to waste your time. As for the level itself, it's interesting in that it's not only plagiarizing, but also recycling plagiarized material. It's mainly Painkiller, the Catacomb level to be exact. All they did here was slightly angle the screenshots they took and sometimes slap some signs around. Dead Man's Drop, Dead Man's Curve, Dead Man's Gorge. I wish I was dead. I wouldn't call it a maze because there's only so many directions you can go, but it is annoying. Like any average adventure game, some stuff you can figure out on your own, but others are just deranged.
Oh, thank you, Blackhawk, but really, there's no need for...
Shh. No buts. Now, go.
Do you know what? Every gift tells a story.
I would be really excited to see Briggs in the new...
This model kinda reminds me of the new Gollum game. This is probably way more entertaining than the Gollum game, because that one is kind of a... It's not even funny, it's just a fucking waste of time.
I would be really excited to see Briggs in the new Smash. While there are more elaborate puzzles to choose from, there's a really simple one that shows madman logic, or maybe 4-year-old logic. Eventually you'll need a soul of a warrior to get past a statue that's drunk and sounds like Predator. You need to switch the real green soul bottle with a decoy that you make yourself. So you fill up an identical looking bottle with water, that's a good start, but what do you mix it with? You use a bag of saffron. Now saffron spice is typically more red colored. The color saffron is named after the tips of the flowers that make the spice. So assuming it is a bag of the spice, it'd be more red colored, but we can pretend that it's all golden saffron tips. So you combine the yellow saffron with the water and you get green? Because water is blue and saffron is yellow and blue plus yellow equals green? Water isn't paint, at least not in my part of the country yet.
Come along now, you can let me now. Yeah, it's alright. I promise you won't talk anymore. I won't talk about anything. I promise you. Yeah.
The first level also has the first of 3 hidden items. You can only see it if you aim for the left of the stairwell here. It's not horrible, but a little too out of the way. Rest assured, each one of these will be worse than the last.
Ah, my favorite.
Why does he got a smile like that?
Here, you must take in exchange for gift.
I think that's enough of Chapter 1. Like I said before, I'm only giving you a taste of what's in store. The sewers. What's really incredible is how little you learn by talking to so many people. We're now 2 chapters in and we only know that we're a chosen one and that we're stuck in Limbo. The story offers just about 0 intrigue. Like anything so bad that's good, you just keep playing to see what happens. It still might be best to play this game in bursts. The ambient audio never stops looping, but this one soundbite is the worst. It's roughly every 2 minutes. It's also a stolen sound effect from the Hammer Hansen Thief. The sewer/swamp level has the most plagiarized things I could recognize without looking stuff up. The first screen, once you pass into the sewer, is from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Most of the gross sewer seems to be the Hollywood sewers. There's an entire room filled with Morrowind items. There's a set of orcish armor and a bunch of weapon models they just retextured. This won't be the last we see of Elder Scrolls games, not even close. There's also this Greek helmet in the corner I thought was from Google Images. After looking around, it turned out to be the Dusk Deep helm from Diablo 2. Incredibly,
yes.
I don't think
they love Diablo
in
2.
the game yet. That won't be until next chapter. Chapter 2 does have one of my favorite stolen assets, the flute. Not the instrument itself, but the song. Okay, they had a little Indiana Jones tune. So what? Well, it's more than you think. They didn't bother to whistle the tune themselves, but instead took an Easter egg from Serious Sam. That is impressive.
Jesus fucking Christ.
As for the game,
Impressive is one word for
once
it.
again, there are 3 main doors, except this time you can only open one at a time. Innovative. The puzzles themselves are becoming more cruel, both narratively and mechanically. Can you see the important item in this room? It's not this panel, not this jar, not the glowing picture on the wall. It's a piece of wood on the back desk. You can only click on about 2 pixels of it, so you can mouse right over it and miss it. This is the second worst hidden object.
God.
As for narrative, at one point Briggs sneaks up on an old man and then puts an iron bear trap over his eyes. That seems a bit excessive, so why would he do that? To take his pen and ink. Reality is slipping.
There's some lovely filth around here. Ooh, who are you? Go on, clear off.
Oh neat, Thor's hammer.
I just wanna say,
Hey, Thor's...
the fucking protagonist must be jacked as all fuck to be able to swing that hammer. Look at how much steel that is. Jesus Christ. He doesn't look like he could lift that, in my
Logic is
opinion,
running on
but...
empty in chapter.
But we are dealing with Limbo of the Lost, so the logic is non-existent. So I guess, like, that's the least of my fucking... that should be the least of my concerns when it comes to this game. Holy god damn.
Chapter 2. So now we're gonna move on to the only real plot and character driven level in the game, Chapter 3.
Where the hell am I?
Why is the music double overlaying? Darkmere.
He's very, very worried about you, and I'm a little bit worried myself about being worried about your friend, being worried about you, being worried about
What the
this,
fuck
and
is
I
this
want to protect
dialogue?
it so I don't have to worry no more.
Also, I hate the subtitles in this game. They are exactly the length of the fucking screen, which is very bad. They should, at most, take up 75% of the total length, because it's hard to fucking read them when they are this spread apart. Also, they appear at the very fucking bottom of the screen. This is a hate crime. Jesus Christ. You know what? Whatever. Why do I even fucking bother?
Her audio is way better than the main characters. What? Darkmere is the first time you can learn more about the inhabitants and where you are. It's refreshing. After doing random tasks with very little story drive, it's nice to have some narrative. Briggs has been accused of being a monster called the Soul Taker. You're imprisoned in a very familiar looking cell, but it's not for long. You find your way out.
Okay.
It seems we have done you a great injustice, my good fellow.
The mayor appoints you as detective, so now you need to interview people, gather clues, and find the real Soul Taker. You even have a little LA Noire clue book. Why is the snow not cold? That's a good start. And so begins the most unbelievable plagiarism in the game.
No way.
You cannot be serious. Nearly every single interior is ripped out of Oblivion. It's not remotely subtle. They copy floor plans entirely. The Shivering Isles expansion had come out just the year before. This could have been on the same shelf as Oblivion. People were actively playing this game. How could they think no one would notice? It's mind-blowing. There's no other way to put it. Out of all the things that people might miss, you took entire levels from a popular AAA game that was still on shelves. Even then, they...
Like, stealing from fucking... what was it? Enclave, Enslaved? I don't even know what that game is. Painkiller? Okay, some people might not know what Painkiller is. And that level in particular, that fucking cave, is not really that standout. But the interiors from each Elder Scrolls games are so fucking recognizable. Jesus Christ. Imagine stealing assets from Skyrim. People would call that shit out in seconds.
Still managed to screw up the background. I still play modded Oblivion from time to time, so I could go right down to the first edition bookstore. Here he is behind the counter, and here's the back view. You enter the building from the wrong side. The register facing the clerk, the books facing outwards, it's all mixed up. They couldn't even get the chair completely out of the shot. This feels like having an out-of-body experience. The fact that living human beings thought they could do this and make money off of it without getting in trouble is mind-boggling. Now would be a good time to bring up the fire. Since they just screenshotted the level, they needed animated torches. All the fire in the game uses fire.gif. They downloaded a fire GIF, put it on the Oblivion screenshot, level completed. It wasn't even the first time in the game they took Oblivion assets, but Darkmere is chock full of them. It's unreal.
Like I said,
Unreal
this literally, this doesn't fucking feel like a passion project. Maybe it started out as one, but something went wrong, somebody wanted some money from somewhere, or to hide their taxes, and this is what happened.
Except they were taking and editing user maps. So they took all these measures to change the map from some map maker, but not the major studio game owned by ZeniMax.
My reaction to this game, to be fair. His head model is going into his body model. What the fuck?
I can never return to first edition. So, what is there to see in Cyrodiil? There are several interesting characters. You might not be able to talk to them for long, but what's there is really good. Much like the real Oblivion, however, it's held back by the amount of voice actors they had. Much of Darkmir's population is voiced by one guy pitching his voice up and down or making funny voices.
It seems we have done you a great injustice, my good fellow. My dear friend and trusted advisor, Omega's here.
Can I help you, miss?
Actually, it's Mr., not Miss.
What? You can't be my sister. I haven't even got a sister.
Mister, I'm a man.
For an age, it seems that this has been going on. One after another they disappear. Souls taken.
There are two actors with better equipment, but they have their own issues. Sometimes you can hear the click of someone starting to record it.
You know what? Maybe this game is actually like the biggest fucking brain game ever made. Because think about it, the game is about Limbo, right? The place you go when you die, but before entering the afterlife, right? You go through Limbo. Maybe this is like them showing what a limbo of a gamer would feel like you know, your memories of the childhood classic games you played flooding into this fucked up nightmare, and like everybody sounds the same because it's kinda like either your voice or NPC voices that really stuck to you. Maybe this is a huge fucking brain allegory to fucking gamer afterlife or something. That's why there is so much assets ripped off and everything is so bizarre. And we are just too stupid to understand the higher plane the developers were on when making this game.
In the background.
Or it's a tax evasion scheme. You decide.
Detective, I say, detective, we found another one.
Can you hear me?
Well, at least he died peacefully.
Can you help me find the Soul Taker?
Mon Dieu, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Do not say those two words within this house. Shadows may seek even this place.
What is this game?
Hey, come on. Give her a chance at least.
What?
Detective Briggs is a mix of both the best and the worst the game has to offer. Exploring the town and finding clues are more engaging than all the other chapters, at least until you hit a wall. Unlike the previous levels, Darkmere is expansive. They even give you a map that lets you teleport around town, it's so big. Now this is great for a while, but then the game starts trying to trick you. When you and your deputy find another victim of the Soul Taker, sometimes you'll automatically pick up his items. This saves hassle at first, but it doesn't always work this way. Sometimes a cutscene will end and the game will automatically have you leave the area, but you don't want to leave, you want to go back. There are items being left behind that don't show up in the previous screen, so you always want to double check. Here, I can see the key on the floor, but the game has me walk right past it, and I have to go back and get it. If I wasn't paying attention, I could have been screwed from that and had to look all over town to find the right item. The stolen level design that's not touched up makes it even harder than it should be. That light really is an exit on the Unreal map, but in here it looks like one, but you can't go through it. This Frankenstein of a game isn't even stitched up right. Sometimes an area that had nothing might have items appear there later. Keep checking the journal. If something's not crossed off, you have to go back later. I could follow the plot up until Briggs was hiding in a stable with some terrifying horses. So he scopes it out and he's like hiding in the corner and these characters walk in and then one says horses for courses. I've played this a few times now and I have no idea what this means, but it's the key.
That's what the creature was trying to tell me.
You mean this guy? There was only one point when I was really stuck, and it's a nightmare.
It is. This video is a fucking nightmare. And this only lasts 42 minutes. I wonder how fucking long this game actually is.
The note says there's more than one way in, and I'm glad the game points it out. I'm serious,
I'm gonna
there's
look
so
it
many
up.
typos and spelling errors that you might think differently. I look all around the inn and I don't see any secret passage or switch or button or anything. Maybe the note meant there's another way to go inside the inn from somewhere outside. So I explore the areas around the inn, but I still don't find anything. So here's the answer. The horrible, horrible answer. First, you have to go behind the bar to a very exact spot in the corner. Then you mouse around for a magic pixel. No text prompt comes up, your hand just changes shape for about half a second. You have to be standing
Fuck
in the right
this.
place, so after you
Fuck
walk
this
around the
so
doorway-
much.
Nope, there we go. Now you're in the Secret Oblivion dungeon. That, by far, is the biggest blocker in the game. Now I can just grab these Baldur's Gate cloaks and be done with it. When I finally found the big piece...
Okay, how long to beat only lists completionist and all styles for some reason. But there were probably so little people that played this that the results are just inconclusive. It's about 10 hours long. Holy shit, I cannot imagine 10 hours of this. The brain rot would literally kill me on the spot. I salute you, MandaloreGaming. You are doing God's work on this green earth. Holy shit.
I nearly had a stroke. I'm gonna leave that as a surprise. When you have all the evidence, Briggs brings it to the court. Not since A Time to Kill has there been a speech quite like this one. He's trying to reach a word count.
No. This is an evil, greedy, corrupt society whose lust for wealth and power means that they will stop at nothing to get what they want. The landlord of the very aptly named Inn of Sins. A fine, upstanding people, ladies and gentlemen. These people that you know and recognize. Take a good look.
I timed it. This goes on for 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and you cannot skip it. It actually sounds like an essay being read aloud. He drags out every piece of evidence you found. I could feel myself being pulled into the void when suddenly one of the greatest cutscenes in video games begins.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your Soul Taker. The Soul Taker has been banished. Your mare has been returned.
Absolute art. It's never explained what he did. It's great.
What
So
the
time moves to the
fuck?
4th chapter, after the troll removes all of our items.
Who do you think you are throwing your weight around like this?
The Machine. Chapter 4 sucks.
I don't even
None
wanna.
of the throwaway just drags
I'm
out
not.
too little for way
I'm
too
not
long.
even fucking saying
As far as
anything.
I know,
Fuck
this
it.
map is made entirely from Unreal maps. Way too few. This is a case study in how not to pad out your adventure game. It has a map similar to Dark Mirror, albeit much smaller. All of the numbered
wonder
tower
what,
locations are completely identical.
I wonder what the metro station screenshot. What game is that from?
Except some have items.
Kinda looks
Tower 1
similar,
and 2
but
have
I
nothing.
cannot
Complete waste of time.
place
Tower
it.
3's only item is right outside the train. There's no reason to explore the rest. So there's not a lot to see, but the game knows it. There are 2 objects that really stick out, but you can't interact with them at all. You have to do other minor tasks, and then they show up and you can pick them up. I don't know why this bothers me so much. Possibly because it was something I expected, but it didn't happen until now. The only good things about it are the cutscenes. There's only a few of them. You can beat it all in 10 minutes. So now's a good time to talk about background stuff before the final chapter. Oh my god, the whole country's a circle.
I, madam, am Benjamin Spooner Briggs, captain of the Mary... Benjamin Spooner Briggs, captain of the Brigadier Mary Celeste.
I like Briggs as a character because he's a goofball, but you don't learn a lot about him. You can learn some things from the bonus disc. It's an enlightening piece of media. For starters, it has an entire intro cutscene that's not in the game. Yeah, when you're just thrown into it all with no context, this was supposed to be in front of it. Why it's not actually in the game, I have no idea. It has an intro, credits, titles pop up, and it's way more elaborate than the one the game has. I can only put it down as another mystery. Anyways, the weird vampires in the intro are brothers named Destiny and Fate. But aren't those the same thing? I guess Destiny usually has more positive connotation than Fate, but still. Anyhow, Briggs gets lost in the Bermuda Triangle. It has some live action footage that people debate over the source of, but they definitely didn't make it. It explains that Briggs is on an island and his actions will determine the future of mankind. Those are higher stakes than what the intro implied. Wait, that's the Crisis demo. Maybe they scrapped it because they knew they weren't allowed to use that. It's still incredibly vague, but better than what the game came with. It even shows why Briggs is flying through the big hell portal from Spawn. So Briggs is still a goofball and this doesn't change that. But here's where it gets strange. Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs was a real man. His ship, the Mary Celeste, was also real and was found derelict a few days after this game takes place. Briggs and his crew were never seen again. This game is the final legacy of a real God-fearing sea captain. Grab your Chicago style and get on JSTOR, it's time to learn. Limbo of the Lost was a book originally published in 1969.
They did Captain Briggs. I don't know anything about Captain Briggs or what he did, but they did him dirty.
It got republished in the
Holy
70s
shit.
as Limbo of the Lost, Actual Stories of Sea Mysteries. There were several articles and a few books talking about the Bermuda Triangle before this one, but this helped popularize it. The real course of the ship was nowhere near the triangle, but here's where things get a little tricky. So I went to my buddy Tex from the Black Pants Legion. He's done historical work specializing in maritime history, so he'd be perfect. At this point, I knew that the real Mary Celeste was one of those weird sea mysteries. It was found derelict near Portugal with no crew, all the cargo intact, but a missing lifeboat. Some of the sails and rigging were damaged, but that was about it. Now here's where things get complicated. Sir Arthur Doyle, the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes, had a short story published in 1884. It was in an issue of Cornhill magazine, and was based on the real Mary Celeste. He just changed minor details and names, like calling the ship the Marie Celeste. The story ended up being so popular that to this day it corrupts historical documents about the real ship. The U.S. consul in Gibraltar, who had been present at Mary Celeste's hearings, would later make inquiries based on the story's facts. After Tex did some groundwork and things, he found out the big discrepancy: the cargo. Doyle's account puts the cargo value at $35,000, which is worth more than the ship. The alcohol was also going to be used to fortify wines, but that's not how this works. The real ship had 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, most likely pyridine and methylate spirits. This wouldn't be how port and fortified wine were made. They would use a neutral grape spirit, most likely locally, not from overseas. Not to mention that port was mainly a cocktail mixer in the Victorian era. Shipping booze across the Atlantic to make ratchet peasant wine would have been stupid and expensive. So any account saying the cargo was worth $35K and being used to fortify alcohol is wrong, and written by brainlets. This eliminates most accounts of mutiny and aliens. So was Briggs eaten by his crew? A sea monster? Well, the most likely answer came out a few years before this game was made. Dr. Andrea Sella of the UCL Chemistry Department built a replica of the Mary Celeste. He simulated a butane explosion from the cargo hold, which made a big fireball but left no signs of burning on the ship itself. This would explain why the ship was damaged but showed no signs of burning due to a pressurized explosion. It explains everything being left behind and no entry in the captain's log, because explosions at sea are scary. So why are there still weird theories? Because there's money to be made off mystery.
As much as the simplest solution makes sense, other tantalizing evidence suggests another fate for the Mary Celeste.
Aliens.
The first mate's wife claims that on the night of November 25th, she had a dream.
No way.
That said that her husband had been murdered at sea.
Please stop. The new owners of the Mary Celeste then took it to a reef off the coast of Haiti and tried to wreck it there for 6 insurance policies. They didn't get it. Speaking of scams, the developers claim they didn't steal anything. It was all done by a mysterious person or entity that they outsourced. Well, guess what we're coming back to? Remember the Amiga demo? This hallway is the key. There's another Amiga game called Guy Spy, and people have pointed out some striking similarities in this hallway. That's right, even back then, they were ripping people off. This game is legendary.
Come
on, let's move on
man.
to the final chapter.
He mentioned something interesting. Cypher is pursuing new research. He claims that what they're doing in Africa is the missing piece. A weapon to surpass
Metal Gear.
The Citadel. This is another short one made of Unreal maps, but I like it a lot more aesthetically. The original score, maybe the only thing not stolen, is also really good. The puzzle's just matching up a right hammer with the right head on the wall and you're good to go. Still, for the final level in this adventure, it seems like a letdown. It did seem rational at first. After all, they couldn't expect a ton of people to get this far. But then the true final challenge began.
It's very dark down here. What? Oh, my head. Oh, where the hell am
Intruder! The Dark One knows you. Where is the seal? The Chosen commands your death.
Playing this game like full length from beginning to end must feel like the worst acid trip you could ever have. Holy shit.
You answer to me.
That's quite
That
the
is a
intro.
legitimately awesome build-up. This
True.
is a time challenge. Remember where each head was and activate them in order of a panel. This is not a lenient timer. I got all the symbols, but now there's letters. Looks like destiny. The timer keeps going and you don't have time to screw around. You're gonna be at the bottom, so you need to get those letters in as fast as you can. Once you do, you've won it all. I'm saving the best ending for last. This comes after. Fate is upset that Destiny has beaten him, and so they opt in for a double or nothing. That's right, they were already teasing a sequel. We both know a lot of reasons why that's not gonna happen. For those same reasons, I would highly recommend checking it out, or getting a copy. Unsurprisingly, there were a lot of legal issues after this game came out, so the retail boxes got pulled. At the time of this video, you can still find wrapped copies for $15 to $20 US, but those won't last forever. This isn't getting a digital release or an enhanced edition anytime soon. For all its problems, it's such a bizarre and funny experience that, for someone like me, I couldn't help but keep going. And nothing reflects its spirit better than the real ending. Thanks for watching. These videos are increasingly harder to make due to scheduling issues, but I'm trying to do it when I can. At some point in the near future, I'll have a special showing of this game on Twitch, same name as the YouTube one. If you stuck around this long, thanks again, and here's the perfect ending.
I can't see a thing.
Go on, Rita, baby. Now that sounds really groovy. I tell you what, let's sing. Well, it's nice to see Brick safe and sound. After all he's been around, and in my beauty should be crowned. The king of Limbo. Well, he's had his ups and he's had his downs.
You know what? Every game should have a musical number at the end. Like, no matter how shit or how shit a game is or how much it disappointed you, if the ending had a musical number like this, any game would be 10 out of 10.
He took his courage to the brink. If it were me, I would turn to drink. Well, that's the reason I think he should be the king of Limbo. Yeah, he had to face enough sins, but at least he kept his leggy limbs. I think that we should be crowning him the king.
This fucking bootleg Smeagol. God damn. Or Gollum.
That's cool.
Oh, what more can a poor boy do? Working for the likes of me and you. What more can a poor boy say? But I could use your help in any way. We've all had fun, you must agree. Even though interactively, but now we feel that Brick should be the king of Limbo. I do hope
a dooby-doo up, a doo up, a dooby-doo up, a doo up, a dooby-doo up. The king of Limbo, a doo up, a dooby-doo up, a doo up, a dooby-doo up, a doo up, a dooby-doo.
King of Limbo video games. Yes. Oh, hey, Joseph Anderson. That guy makes, well, he made amazing videos because it's been years since his last one, but holy shit, what a video game. What a video. Thank you for recommending this to me. This has been truly a life-changing experience. Not that now that I have experienced Limbo of the Lost, I feel like I've been stuck in Limbo for 42 fucking minutes. So I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching. This game is fucking bizarre. There is no way it took them 18 years to make fucking this. So it probably was some sort of fraud involved. And MandaloreGaming is amazing. His videos are amazing. Check him out. You won't regret it. That's everything from me. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to detox my brain with Elden Ring or something to get rid of... I don't even want to speak anymore. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one.